Okay, so we are going to discuss today about the interview schedules. You see, if you look into this interview schedule, uh, see, all of you know that when I was telling about from the very beginning regarding the questionnaire and uh, household schedule. So during the time I have told you and I have emphasized always that the data which you are going to collect based on your objective mostly depends upon how you are preparing your questionnaire or the schedules. So then another very important thing is the person who are engaged in taking the interview. See, if it is a questionnaire, you are just sending the peoples and the people are answering. But if you are taking a schedule, you are the person who are directly talking to the respondent. So there, it is very crucial in the part of you that how you are taking the interview. Because if your process of taking interview is wrong, then you may not collect the right information. But the last somebody was asking and I was telling that uh, why sometimes we failed in extracting the correct information. Even I was telling about my own experience just 10 days back when we went to the field with my students. Some of my students told that, sir, we are not able to collect the information relating to the specifically to the income and expenditure. So I told you that. So it depends upon how you are interacting, how you are extracting the information. But if you ask somebody that how much you are earning from your uh, per month, if a salaried person can tell exactly that what is his income. But if you ask to somebody who is mostly engaged in agricultural and wage activities or even the business, it is quite difficult in their part to tell you the exact amounts. And sometimes it is also a tendency in the part of human being to hide their income. And while you will ask about the expenditure, usually they always tell that expenditure is always they will tell what is my income, the everything is I used to spend. And if you calculate sometimes, and you will find that the expenditure will show you something sometimes more than their incomes. But I have seen some of the questionnaire. The students collect the questionnaires and collect the information using the questionnaires or the schedules. And where I found that somebody who claims that I have spent 10,000 per acre in a paddy cultivation is claim that I am getting only 5,000 in return. If somebody is spending 10,000 per acre and getting 5,000, why is he interested in continuing the agriculture? No doubt, the most of the time in the contemporary days we found that the cost of agriculture has gone up, and the peoples who are having land have no option, but still they are continuing. But it does not mean that they're losing 5,000 and still continuing the agriculture. They don't get much profit. It might be just hand to mouth. It just might be the just cost and profit are more or less similar, but it is not that the cost has gone more than the expenditure. If it is the kind of drought, if it is a flood, any kind of disaster, it might happen. But in a common season, in a natural season, in a natural calamity, sorry, in natural kind of season, usually your cost will never go off your uh, production. So means your cost or output might be more or less similar and you may not get much profit, which may discourage you, but it doesn't mean that in a natural season your cost has gone up more than your investment. See, what I'm sorry, cost has gone more than your outcome. So what I'm telling, so that's why the interview is very, very important in social science research specifically, that how you are interacting, how you are extracting the information, and how you are mobilizing the person in getting the information. Suppose you say, suppose as a male, you are interacting, with the females while extracting the information. You see, generally the female has the merit that they can easily get the information either from male or female. But generally, whenever a male doing research on female, and specifically whenever a male doing a research on reproductive health or females any health issues, it is very difficult to get the information. So that's why how you are establishing the rapport, how you are convincing the peoples, and how you are developing a confidence in the minds of the respondents with whom you are interacting, that will help you in extracting the information. So that's what I'm telling, you should be very much careful that while taking an interview. So that's why it is highly crucial to know that the methods, the techniques of interview, the strategies of the interview, and how to do the interview. All these things are very, very crucial. Suppose somebody is not having the time, somebody is having quite busy in his activities. Somebody, suppose now it is agricultural seasons, people are quite busy in their crop collection, and you went to the field and try to interact with the farmers, which is quite difficult because the farmers during the harvesting period will be quite busy in their field in harvesting. So they may not have enough time to interact with you. And you might have gone because you always calculate from the cost and cost perspectives, because you have very less time and money. So you have to wind up your work as soon as possible. Okay. So what exactly you are looking for? Suppose you are looking for the how to wind up your work. At the same time, the farmer is quite busy in harvesting. He may not spare with you. So there you will face second problems because your interview will not have a kind of ethics there, because you are violating the research ethics again, because you are unnecessarily creating problem in their day-to-day activities. So that's why you should take a prior appointment. Let them to give you some free time so that you can go easily and interact with people. So that's why I always tell people, while you are doing the field work, love to stay in the field. You have to be in that's why when I'll tell you the participant observation, I'll tell you exactly for that. See, if you'll stay somewhere outside and everyday travel, so by the time you'll reach there, so people might have gone to their field, and by the time they will back, you might be hurried to back because of evening is approaching. You want to back your home before evening. But this is the problem with all of us, because generally people's now developing a tendency to live in some urban areas or some little bit city areas where from where they can access to the field instead of staying in the field. See, the best timing for taking an interview with the villagers is either early mornings, or you go in the go in the evening or afternoon at least. At least you go after 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, because by the time the people will back, you will have enough time to the villagers. You can have an interaction, because throughout the day, if you want to spare the time, you can spare with the old peoples. You can talk to some of the women's. You can talk to the children's. That will be they will be available in the villages, but the other people will not be available. So that's why you should be very much careful about that. So let us discuss in details. So these are my outlines. So why and what is interview? Interview as a research tool, techniques of the interviewing, types of interviews, advantage and limitation of interview, critical point, closing the interview, validating the interview. All these things we'll discuss. So why and what is interview? Personal interviewing is an important instrument of gathering the information from the respondent in social survey. See, while we are having an interviewing with a person, it is highly important because we are getting the information from the respondents in a social survey. In a survey, we are collecting the information, we are getting the information from the respondent. It is not simple a two-way conversation between an interrogator and informant. It is not simple an interaction. It is not simple a conversation, because sometimes people feel that interview is mere a conversation. No, it is not a mere conversation. It is not mere a two-way conversation. It is beyond that. It is beyond the conversation. Because here you are looking into the gesture, the glances, the facial expression, perception reveals the subtle feelings. You see what exactly you are doing in the interview. While you are taking an interview from a person, what you are doing, you are also at the same time while interacting with a person, while taking an interview from a person, what you are doing, you are not only looking into or recording what he or she is speaking, that means that respondent is speaking, rather you are looking into the individual's face, you are looking into his facial expression, you are looking into his gesture, you are looking into his kind of body kind of movements. Through that, what will happen sometimes while interacting with the peoples, you will be quite sure seeing his body gesture and also from his facial expression whether he or she wants to reveal this thing or not, and what exactly he is speaking, whether it is speaking true or false. So that means by seeing the facial expression, you can understand very easily what exactly the he or she is speaking. So that by understanding their facial expression, by understanding their gesture, by understanding their body expression, what you can do, you can cross check in the later on. Means why, whether the information you have collected is right or wrong. Interaction that takes place in an interview is highly complex. See, while I'm interacting with somebody, I don't know what exactly he or she is telling because I have no, see, I have to cross check it because the interaction is usually yeah, very complex, it's a highly complex phenomenon. What the interviewer hears should be what the interviewer hears should be regarded as representing the perception of the informants. You see, what exactly that to see while I'm interacting with somebody. Either with the permission of that respondent, I can record it. Otherwise, what exactly he's telling, I have to properly write it out. Otherwise, I have to remember it, and I should first hear the proper things. Suppose unless and until I am able to hear completely the what exactly the respondent is telling, then my interpretation may be wrong. So that side is very crucial. Every interview has its own balance of revelation and withholding information. Which means you see, every interview has certain kind of relevance and also lots of informations are there which we can extract through interview. Even see, if you go with a kind of schedule, you may not extract all this information. Also, sometimes sorry, if you'll send the questionnaire to somebody, you may not extract such an information, but rather whenever, even if you'll go with a schedule and have an interview with somebody, you can extract lots of information because sometimes generally what happen while we are taking the interview, we sometimes also we may go out of that schedule. Suppose whenever we are, I ask some question from my schedule to the respondent directly. So the respondents might be having much interest in that aspect. He might started telling you lots of things. Suppose I'll tell you. Suppose I went to the field and I asked the peoples that what your the NGO which is doing the agricultural supporting you for the agricultural promotion, agricultural activities in your locality. So how it helps? Are you happy with the support provided by the NGO? Means yes or no. He could have told yes or no. So if whenever he told suppose no, I am not happy with the no. So my rest question might be why you are not happy. So that is fine. But while I told no, he started while he's speaking about the no, he or she started narrating the entire information. What exactly happened, how that organization came, what exactly the organizations are doing. Right. So all these things, because if my questionnaire I could have sent to him, so then what he could have done, he could have simply answered no, and in the and why no, he could have write small aspects of his own. If means you see sometimes what happen uh, while talking you can express so many things, but while writing you may not able to write everything. This is the problems. Okay, because while you are writing you are becoming conscious, while you are speaking you are not conscious. Right? So that's why see. But everywhere, you see, while some actor is acting backside the door, he's not conscious. But while an actor, see, that's why there is a difference between Jatra culture and if you look in the film. See, the Jatra culture, the actor is on the stage. Whatever he will tell, it is right or wrong, it is presented to the audience, presented to the public. So that's why they are much conscious. But film, what is happening? If anybody has seen the film shooting, how many times they cut, how many times they record, how many times, unless and until it is perfect, they keep on record. Right? So that's the problem. See, uh, that's why you see, look into the difference also. While a teacher is taking a class in the classroom, while a teacher is taking a class in the camera, there is also difference is there. See, here you see, personal interview is seen as an effective, informal, verbal and non-verbal conversation initiated for specific purposes and focused on certain planned content areas. You see, the personal interview is seen as a very much effective and it is a very much informal in nature, which collected both verbal and non-verbal conversation, which is based on both verbal and non-verbal conversation and initiated for specific purpose. What for it is initiated? It initiated for a specific purpose, for a specific information. You want to collect a specific information and you focused on a planned content area because you are having a questionnaire with you. You are having a questionnaire with you, which is based on certain objective, which is based on certain specified variables. So your question is already having a kind of you are looking into the questionnaire to the while you are asking, you are looking into the questionnaire. So that's why your purpose is very much fixed, specific, and you are focused. That is highly important. The objective of the interview may be exchange of ideas and experience. You see, while I'm interacting with an officials, while I'm taking an interview with a farmers, while I'm taking an interview with a layman, so living in the villages. So while I'm interacting or taking an interview from a particularly vulnerable tribal households. So what I'm telling here, we are not only extracting the information, rather also we are extending the ideas and experience. Suppose I told somebody, I asked somebody that in my questionnaire, do you have received a ration card? Suppose somebody told no. See there, I might ask why you have not received. Then the answer might be, sir, I'm very poor. Nobody's nobody's supporting me, nobody's listening me because I'm a marginal person, I'm a marginal community. But you see, there, as an interviewer, my interview is not stopped there. What I can ask him? Because I'm expressing my ideas with him. See, this is a government scheme. This is specifically for the poor peoples. And what I understood, you are a very poor person looking into your house and your dress style and all these things. I feel you are eligible, very much eligible for getting this ration cards. And you, if you are still not getting, you meet so and so person, you write to the collector, you meet to the collector, meet your sarpanch, ask him why you are not giving. And these are the guidelines. These are the, you claim that. So there, what is happening? I am exchanging my experience and ideas with that person. So that I am also, while taking the information from somebody, it is not that simply I am taking the information from somebody, rather I am also creating awareness among the peoples. Means I am also making him alert that is, see, it is your right, you have to fight for your right. The government of India or the government of the various states have given such a kind so many benefits to you, but because of this local political aspects and all, you should not be deprived. So that's why here I am not really simply extracting the information, rather I am sharing my ideas, I am sharing my experience with that respondent, and while eliciting the information, I am also making him aware. Hello. So eliciting of information pertaining to a wide range of data in which the interview may be wished to rehearse his past and converse his future possibilities. You see, while I'm interacting, I may not be exactly confining to my questionnaire because you see, my questionnaire I'm filling up, but at the same time, or I'm filling up my schedule there, but at the same time, I'm also trying to understand the past, the future, and also the person's details, so which will help me in writing my case study also. If I am taking a case study, so I have to do an in-depth interview with that individuals, and that in-depth interaction will help me in developing an excellent case study. So that's why the it is a highly essential to know the strategies of conducting an interview. Interviewing is an interactional process and is a mutual view of each other. You see, while I'm taking an interview, it is not simply an interactional process. I'm interacting with somebody. It is a mutual view. While we are interacting, we are mutually agreed to each other. Every verbal responses and non-verbal reactions may be an eye opener for a whole new train of thoughts. So while we are having, see, suppose I am taking an interview with an officials. So while I am taking an interview with an officials, so there might be, while we are interacting, if I ask that, sir, why so and so things has not happened, so then might be the official might develop an awareness and feel that, okay, so I have to be also aware and I have to do for the public and all. So that's what I'm telling. Sometimes the interview helps in opening the eye for the whole and developing a new train of thoughts for others. An answer may not be only response to a question, but also a stimulus to progressive series of other relevant statements about social and personal phenomena. What exactly I was telling. See, it is not that simply I'm collecting a response to a particular question, but also it is stimulating. It is giving a stimulus to a progressive thought. So means we are, while we are interacting, I might get the answer for my question, but at the same time, it is expressing lots of ideas, giving a new thought, train of thought to different aspects, so we can relook to the matter in the future, and we can get lots of ideas, lots of problems we can formulate from the field. It might indicate cause and effect relationship, and at the times may lead to formulation of hypotheses. While I'm interacting with the villagers, while I'm interacting with the officials, so I can develop the cause and effect relationship, and at the same time, my interaction, from my interaction, the information, the data which I collect may help in developing a hypothesis also. Interview as a research tool. So which is how interview is a research tool. It is one of the most important and all pervasive tool, because you see, while we are doing any kind of research, if it is a primary based, interview is must. So that's why interview is a very important tool in any kind of social science research, which is mostly depends upon primary research. Hello. So it is one of the most effective tool of a field worker. So see, it is one of the most important tool for the field workers. Interview is conversation with a purpose, and therefore is more than a mere oral exchange of information. It is a kind of conversation with a purpose. So that's why it is not only, I have already told you, it is more than an oral exchange of information. It is not only an oral discussion, rather we are also observing our gesture and facial expression, body expression, everything. It is important. Its importance arises from the necessity to come into a contact with an individual to get access to the fact, what to get access to the facts. It is an important arises from the necessity to come into contact with individuals to get access to the fact and opinions and to receive them directly from the person. You see, interview helps us to extracting exactly the people's opinions. And also, suppose you see, we are taking, suppose exit polls, suppose now Bihar election is continuing. After the election, probably the 7th or 8th election will over, and on 10th the result will come. But after this 7th or 8th, when the final round election will be over, then immediately the exit poll interview will come. So how come this exit poll result comes? Because now you see, if you go to the most of the polling centers, you'll find that the journalists are roamings, and once somebody cast their votes and come out, they interact, they take an interview, TV interview. They take an interview. There are some of the peoples also, The research agency, they spread, all the medias are having also research wings. All the political parties are also having the research wings. So different media agencies, they engage the consultancy group, they engage their consultancy group, they engage the research partners. So who extract the information, the people, the moment they cast their vote and they come out from the polling booths, so they interact with them and they ask them what, whom you voted. They may not exactly tell whom they voted, what you feel, who will win, whom. Sometimes they have also directly asked that whom you have voted, why you have voted, what, whom you prefer to be the next minister and all. So what I'm telling you, see here, the while they're interacting, they got lots of information relating to the people's perception, people's opinion toward the individual, toward the candidate. So, and sometimes you'll find that in most of the election result, we found that the villagers or the peoples, even in urban, forget about villagers in urban and all, generally the public sometimes wants the vote either in the favor of a chief minister or in the favor of a prime minister, just like USA kind of election, rather than voting to an individual at the grassroots level. Because you see, if you look at the last general election, the question of whether people wants Narendra Modi to be prime minister, all they wants Rahul Gandhi to be the prime minister. So like that, you see. So what I'm telling now, if you look into the different states, the people are projecting, and they are what exactly happening. People, when they are voting for their MLAs and MP, real they are not voting to the candidates, rather they are voting to the person who will win the, who will head the state or who will head the center. So that's why by interacting, taking an interview, you can extract lots of the information from the people's. Interview is the device to tap the source by the investigator. You can extract, you can tap the different kind of source, different kind of information from the interviewer persons. Controlling factor is the success of the interview is the reaction of the personalities involved, the investigator and the respondent. You see, the very important thing in any interview is you have to control yourself. Different kind of, you have to control yourself. You have to control lots of external factors, because you see, while you are interacting with a person, you should be very much conscious that he should not be influenced by some external factors, because you see, the controlling factors is very important if you are really collecting the information. Because if you take an interview with somebody and in between some other person come to that place, you'll see that immediately it will bias, immediately it will have an influence upon your interview. Suppose you see, that's why whenever you see, whenever you are asking somebody about the different issues in the villages, suppose if whenever you are asking somebody about his income and all, and you should not ask all these things in the front of others, because if you ask all these things in front of others, generally what will happen, people will never reveal, because you see, you will leave but he will be real culprit. Right? Because the information immediately will pass to others that he was having a kind of bad opinion. And you see, sometimes suppose what happened, suppose an NGO has implemented a project, suppose any government agency, suppose you see what exactly happened. Suppose while you are interacting with the villagers, you should not interact with the villagers in front of your sarpanch, because the moment you interact with the villagers in front of the sarpanch, they will definitely will never tell anything against the administration, against the institute. See, suppose I am in the part of administration, if somebody comes and take an interview from me in front of my director, can I tell anything against the institutes? Can I tell anything against the administration? Okay, forget about I am in the administration. Take into another faculty who is not in the administration. So if somebody comes and take an interview from him in the presence of director, what will do? He will definitely will always spread the administration rather than telling the truth. But while he's speaking without the presence of others and getting an assurance that whatever the opinion I'll give, it should be confidential, it should not be disclosed to anybody, then he will feel free to tell the real truth. So that's what I'm telling. While you are interviewing, you should be very much careful about the other external factors. So that's how we can control other external factors, through that the interview can be very much in a proper way. Being always the direct, it is the only way by which certain types of information can be obtained. So means you should have a direct interaction with the person. Through that, what will happen? Certain type of information you can obtain from the peoples. It is highly flexible and permits the maximum variation in directing the inquiry. So your interview should be very much flexible, and because why I'm telling your interview, so that's why always I told you, because it is a direct contact person to person, and also it is a highly flexible, because you see, while you are interacting with somebody, your target is with the questionnaire, your target is to fill up your questionnaire, but at the same time, while you are interacting, your interaction is much more flexible. You wants to extract more and more information. Like, so that might be certain variation will be there, but still what exactly you are doing, you while you are interacting in a more flexible way, you are giving much scope to the respondents to speak. Okay, because generally you are giving much scope to the respondent to speak, and you should have also at the same time patience to listen, because if you will be hurry that okay, I have a target to wind up my work, and if you have no more interest for that, so then what will happen? Because you see, I have seen lots of I have some experience in my past. Whenever I was part of a very as one of the co-PI of a big projects, and there we were controlling around 12 states, which is not possible in the part of us to do all the field work. So there we have appointed some of the agencies. We took the hire some of the agency who collected the information, who entered the data into the software, and then they handed over the table to us. Then we analyze and write the reports. So you see, there I was sometimes I was sent also for monitoring and all. And what exactly I found? I found that the way the agency are collecting the information are very much bad, because they are quite engaged. No doubt they're experienced person, but what exactly their intention is? Their intention is that they are being told that per schedule this much money. So means the person who are engaged in the field is willing to wind up as soon as possible the interview and complete the interview schedule as much as possible in the term of numbers, through that if per schedule he gets at 500 or 100 200 200 whatever, if he gets, the more he interview schedule he'll finish, the more money he will get. So that's why sometimes it have what happens, he will listening to others. And even if in the somebody is in the road, somebody is riding a cycle, riding a bike, he will stop in between in the road and by sir thoda bol dijiye, and he will extract the information. That will not meet the required exactly the requirement of the interview, because you may merely fill up your questionnaire, but you will not able to get exactly the information which is really needed for doing the research. For what reason, for what purpose you are taking the kind of interview, it will never solve that. So that's why you should be very much careful about that. Being always directly interact. So it is highly flexible, which I've already completed. See, it helps to supplement the personal information and check an experience and ideas. See, what exactly would help? It will supplement the personal information. You can check with your experience, and whatever the information you have collected, that the information which you will collect, that can supplement that. An offhand remark may suggest a new angle of approach or a solution. The information or the remark which you will collect, it may give a solution to the uh, problems. So the flexibility and other advantage of the interview depends largely on the approach and the experience of the person conducting it. So that's what I'm telling. So the person who is taking the interview matters a lot, because the person who is taking the interview is having a large experience. So that will be an advantage position, because so unless and until you are having much more experience of conducting the interview, you may not extract more information. See, uh, I have seen recently also in my field that sometimes what happen, I went with my field with my students to the field, and I found that my students are taking interview very fast, and but I was very slow. So then I was asking them how you are so fast and why I'm so slow. But what exactly I found that they were quite confining to the question only. But I was beyond the question. I was having more interaction. While I am discussing, I am not only confining to the question only. I was keep on asking so many other issues relating to that from my own experience, and I am cross-checking that what exactly they are telling. So that's why I was consuming more time in comparing to my own students. And often remarks may suggest a new angle of approach or a solution. You see, while I will interact, we may get lots of other suggestions from them, which will bring a solution to our problems. The flexibility and other advantages of the interview depends largely on the approach of the experience of the one person conducting it. See, if you have a more experience, it will help you doing the more correct way of interview. If an investigator can control the interview tactfully, lots of information attitude can be drawn out, especially if the direction of the inquiry can be imperceptibly changed. See, it depends upon how you are changing the direction, how you are interacting, how you are extracting. So means if your target is only to extract the information which is mentioned in the questionnaire, that is different things. If you want to have more and more information, then you have to very tactfully deal with the person. A survey interview is a conversation between an interviewer and a respondent with the purpose of eliciting certain information. Cannell and Khan distinguish three broad concepts as a necessary condition for successful interview. They have given three kind of uh, distinction. So accessibility of the required information to the respondent. This is first one. The Cannell and Khan has distinguished. What they told? Accessibility of the required information to the respondent. What exactly I want the information, that in the absence of which the respondent cannot answer the questions. How he may have forgotten or may not think in the way the investigator think. So that's why whether I have first I have to think whether this information can be accessed or not, because if while I am interacting with somebody 20 years back incident, he may forget. eh? And suppose somebody while I am interacting with old people may forget the things very fast. So that's why I should have a vast thought that whether I can access the information from him or not. Then cognition and understanding of the respondent of what is required of him and her. So that I have to understand what exactly the respondent, whether so while I am interacting with the respondent, I should be very much careful that what information exactly we need. Respondent should know what is expected of him or her, from him or her. So while I am interacting with somebody, he should or she should at least know that what exactly the interviewer expect from him. Suppose if he or she is not aware exactly, he or she will tell something else, and uh, my question will be something and his answer or her answer will be something. The respondent should decide what is relevant information to give, how completely he or she should answer, and is what terms of reference he should express the answer. It is part of the interviewer's job to teach the respondent his or her role. So means before taking an interview, we should also tell the respondent these are the things we expect and these are the way you have to answer. The motivation on the part of the respondent to answer the question actually accurately. I have to motivate. If I am taking an interview from a respondent, I should motivate him that what exactly the information should be collected and how he has to answer. All these things is not his or her internal decision, initial decision, cooperation, subsequent decision to continue with the interview. You see, if from the very beginning I'll tell something which will hurt the emotion of that respondent, he will not motivated. So means while I am interacting, I should be very positive, I should be very encouraging, I should motivate in such a way that that person will give a better answer. I'll stop from here. If anybody any question, please tell. Please ask him. Hello. Huh. Mr. Singh, you are
Sir,
want to
excuse
ask?
me, sir.
Huh.
Yeah, sir. The point where it says that being direct, always direct, gives you certain information or something. Could you explain with an example?
What? I didn't get you.
On the topic research as research tool, interview as a research tool, there was a point that it said that being always direct uh, will give you certain information. Could you explain with an example, sir, that point? There was a point. Yeah, sir. The next slide, seventh slide. It's
Next.
there. Seventh slide. Yeah, being always direct.
Being always direct, it is only way by which certain types of information can be obtained. See, what I'm telling here, the interview is a tool which directs the peoples that the way what information exactly you are trying to obtain and you are really interested. Because you see, if I'll send a questionnaire to somebody, somebody may not able to answer properly. But here in the interview, what exactly happening while I'm asking, my question might be in a different language, my question might be in a different way in the schedule. But while I'm asking in such a direction. I am directing him in such a way that which means the information which you need can be extracted. Suppose you see, the question might be sometimes very complex. Suppose I want to ask him, I told you earlier also, suppose I want to know the income he collected, his annual income from the agriculture. So you see, I cannot write the annual income from the potato, annual income from paddy, annual income from tomato, and I don't know what exactly agricultural activities he's doing. But my questionnaire, it is mentioned that uh, annual income from the agriculture. So while I'm interacting with him, if my if as an interviewer I am not such conscious, I cannot direct him. Suppose what I can ask him, I can ask him, by sir, you are doing both paddy and vegetables. Okay, you are doing also different types of vegetables, different types of paddy. What exactly what is your per acre production? And if he cannot tell the per acre, I can ask him earlier. I have already asked him what is his acre of land, what is total acres of land, and then I can ask him, okay, suppose you have 5 acres of land, how much paddy you produced last year? So then he can tell that, okay, I got 100 bags of rice. Then I can find that, okay, he got 20 bags of rice per acre. And then I can come to the vegetables. Then he will tell that, okay, vegetables. So I can ask what are the major vegetables you are harvesting. He told that, okay, suppose I am doing chili, I am doing potato and all. I asked him, okay, how much potato you got and how many acres of land, or what is the decimal of land you spent. Then how many acres of land or decimal of land you spend for doing the potato, chili, tomato and all, and what is exactly your production. Means while I'm interviewing, I'm giving a direction to him. I am directing him what exactly information I need. Get my point? Other
Yes, sir.
anybody? Anyone? Hmm? So clear everything? Vishnu is asking something?
No, sir.
So I'll stop here then. We'll meet on Thursday. Huh? Okay.